Do you want to know why sometimes it's hard to lose weight? My name is Claudia from Ho'olamana, and I'm here to help you become the healthiest version of you inside and out. Today I want to talk about 8 reasons why you can't lose weight. So I'm going to go straight into it. So the first reason is oops. So the first reason is you tend to overeat healthy foods. Okay, so yes, you're eating healthy. Yes, you're eating organic, and yes, you are buying the organic, grass-fed, all of this. But just because it's healthy doesn't mean that you should overeat. So if you're overeating and because you're not feeling satiated, we can talk about, that will be my next point. Okay, so, but first of all, if you're overeating healthy food, it might be because you're not feeling satiated. So I suggest you chew your food. So when you chew your food, that's where digestion begins. Digestion begins in your mouth. So the saliva that is secreted while you're chewing your food actually helps absorb some of the food and starts breaking down the food in your mouth, gets absorbed in and goes into your stomach for further digestion. If you're not chewing your food enough, so and you're eating fast, then your stomach has a harder time breaking down the unchewed food. So and it gets harder to break it down as well. So chew your food as much as you can. So what I recommend is by practicing. It feels weird in the beginning. Okay, if you notice how much you chew your food, count before you swallow. So I've learned that you should chew your food up to 35 times before you swallow. So that also helps with that feeling of satiety in your stomach, because you feel more full faster because you are absorbing the nutrients from the food. So chew your food. Try it for up to 35 chews before you swallow. It is weird. Your jaw gets a little tired, but I'm used to it. I don't even think about it. I just know that I eat slower than what I used to. Back when I was growing up, I used to just rush and eat so much. But anyway, so chew your food up to 35 times. So, and that will also prevent you from overeating. Okay. So the next point is that you don't practice portion control. Okay, so when we go out to eat, like, I love Mexican food, I love Italian food, I love all kinds of food. I'm a foodie. So, but have you noticed the big portions? First of all, that is way too much. We're overeating. Again, this goes back to overeating and being aware of our portion control. So when we get like raw nuts, okay, there is a serving size suggestion that we should keep in mind. Okay, and also, what are your serving sizes for foods? For example, when you take your metabolic type, when you know what your metabolic type is, or you can also call it the fat, protein, fiber percentage, then you're more aware of how you should be eating. So you are aware of what your portion control is. So if you are a protein type, your ratio of protein to carbs should be 2 servings of proteins and fat to 1 serving of carbohydrates or your fiber. And if you're a carb type, then you should have 2 servings of your fiber and carbohydrates to 1 serving of protein. And if you're a mixed type, then it's split in half. Now, with metabolic typing, you should be aware of what the appropriate foods and vegetables that will benefit you the most. Okay, so metabolic typing is very important. So for me, I'm a protein type. My ratio should be 2 servings of protein to 1 serving of carbohydrates. What is 1 serving of protein? The size of your palm, okay? And what is a serving of carbohydrates? Make a fist. and that's how it should be. So, like I used to, when I was a competitive triathlon, I used to train for triathlons, I would eat a lot of carbs, a lot of salad, and sometimes I wouldn't even include protein with me because I just wanted a carb load for the energy. And I was always tired because I wasn't eating according to my metabolic type. I needed to incorporate more protein and balance my diet with the right ratio of carbohydrates. So the next one, 3, skimping on sleep. We should be getting about 7 to 9 hours of sleep. So obviously kids that are growing up and developing still, they need more hours of sleep because they need to recharge their body from the energy of growing. So some of us need 7 hours, some of us need 9 hours. But if we're having trouble sleeping, we're not getting enough sleep, it actually affects the functions of our body, it affects our digestion, it affects the recovery of our body, our physical body, and our mind, our brain. So we want to make sure that we are well rested and not having our body in that constant state of stress because we're too tired. We're too tired to exercise. We're too tired to just do activities that should help us with losing weight. So 4 is that you forget to eat your veggies. Okay, and I'm not just talking, like the meat and potatoes type, but it's important to incorporate veggies. And going back to the metabolic type, it's important to eat the right kind of veggies. So as a protein type, I respond better to certain types of vegetables. And I'm not saying that the other types of vegetables are bad, but I need to be aware of how my body is responding to those vegetables. So I'm making sure that my plate is very balanced with the right proteins and with the right amount of veggies. And fresh is always better than frozen. Fresh is way, way better than canned. So frozen is also better than canned. So avoid the canned vegetables. There's also all these other preservatives on there. So you want to get fresh veggies. Also, you want to make sure that your vegetables are organic rather than conventional. But if you don't have access to organic, conventional is better than genetically modified. And how do you know that your veggies are conventional, organic, or genetically modified? The codes on there that they use, the code is, if it starts with a 9, then it is organic. And then of course there's the codes that starts with a 4 and a 3, so those are not organic vegetables. Also, it's important to eat the seasonal vegetables because seasonal are more affordable than vegetables and fruits that are sold out of season. They tend to cost a little much higher. So seasonal is great, and it's great to also learn how to cook with these seasonal vegetables. So just remember that with eating your vegetables. The next one is you only do cardio as an exercise. So cardio is important. So the way I've explained the triangle of wellness is you need 65% nutrition. You are what you eat, you are when you eat and everything. 35 depends, on how much you're eating, what your body needs. 35 to 45%, well, let's say 35% of resistance exercise, weight training, resistance, strength training, okay, and 5% cardio. But everybody's like, what? Just 5% cardio? But, I need to spend 30 minutes a day, doing this, that, and the other. Unless you are training for a jog or a marathon, or if that's just part of what you like to do, it's still important if you're going to spend, like, I love to run. I will go for an hour run. I used to do triathlons, but the strength training is also important. So what happens if you're only doing cardio, okay, so what happens is fat requires oxygen to burn. Okay, so if we're doing our cardio and we're at a certain level, that oxygen is helping our body burn fat. But if that's aerobic exercise. So when we go into anaerobic, so when I was going into the sprinting phase of my running and my cycling and my swimming, then you're going into an anaerobic cardio. Anaerobic is without oxygen. So, and another example I like to use is, a candle needs oxygen to burn. Okay, so if you cover that candle with a glass, then the light burns out, okay? Because there's no more oxygen. So same thing with our body. If we are beyond oxygen, then what's going on with the cardio? We are burning our muscle. So eventually that leads to joint pain, injuries, muscle tears. Okay, we're not strengthening our body. We're not bringing in the oxygen to our muscles. So we want to make sure that we also incorporate some resistance training. Okay. Oops. Six is you exercise on an empty stomach. So, guilty. One morning when I did a lot of triathlons in my 20s and 30s, 10Ks, 5Ks, half marathons. And I followed a strict training schedule for my races. So one morning I woke up late and I was on a time limit, so I needed to get out the door. I didn't eat my breakfast. I rode my bike about 5 miles and all of a sudden my body bonked. Okay, I had no energy, no strength whatsoever to continue. I had to call a friend to come pick me up, take my bike home, and I just couldn't ride back, not even 5 miles. So exercising in an empty stomach is not recommended. You don't want to get a full heavy meal, but you do want to get some nutrients in your body so you can have that energy, so you can have that support to burn the excess fat and make sure that you have that energy. Otherwise, we're going to go back into this whole little cycle of burning your muscle instead of your fat. So number 7 is dining out. Okay, so I know that right now a lot of us aren't going out to restaurants to eat, but some of us do tend to order in, especially right now. But dining out, again, going back to portion controls, when we dine out, we aren't in control of what goes into our foods, what is going into our sauces and things like that. And I'm not saying that dining out is bad, it's actually a treat, and I like to do it once in a while. But when you are cooking at home, then you know what you're putting in, you know how it's being prepared and everything, and it saves you quite a bit of money. So not dining out, the oils that they use, things like that, it will help you lose weight. And finally, toxic liver. So our liver is an important part of our body. It is a very important organ in our body because it filters the toxins. Okay, so if our body is full of toxins, it has a tough time losing weight. So I'm going to show you a little diagram. Please, please, please excuse my drawings because I'm not an artist. I mean, I'm okay, but for this reason, I'm going to kind of use a little drawing here. Geez, this looks like a turtle, which is my favorite. So anyway, okay, let's pretend that this is us, and at one point we are all like this because there's a lot of toxins in us and a lot of inflammation, okay, from the foods that we eat. So when we diet, and we will be able to, this is going to look like a skinny turtle now, whoops. Again, sorry for my drawings, I'm not an artist. Okay, so what happens is when we lose weight, the concentration of the toxins in our body is higher, okay? So that's what happens, the percentage. So then we rebound to the our initial state because of the high concentration of toxins in our body. Where do the toxins, where do they get stored? They get stored in our fat cells, okay? So, so when we detox our liver, we start off this way, okay? But what happens, the end result is that we flush all the toxins out of our body. Okay? So when we detox, our end result is going to be a less concentration, a less percentage of toxins in our body. So that's what helps us remove the impurities and also our fat cells reduce. So it's like a balloon, okay? If a balloon has sand and water, then it's gonna weigh more, of course. And also, if you take the water out, you know, you can't get rid of the sand. Those are the toxins. They don't belong there, so it's not gonna shrink. However, when you remove the sand in a water balloon, then you're able to lose more of that weight from the water balloon. So I don't know, that's an example that I just came up with. So with less fat, less toxins in our body, then we have an overall better health, and we are able to have our muscles, more lean muscle mass, reduce our fat. So these are the 8 reasons why you can't lose weight. So what I would like to offer you, if you have any questions in regards to this and how you can detox your liver and how I can help you reduce the impurities in your body, then I would love to give you a complimentary consultation. Just give me a call. Visit my website for contact information, hoolamana.com, HOOLAMANA.com, or leave a message or send me a private message. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.